Have you ever really stopped to notice that there's a storyteller living inside your head? I mean, it's narrating your life 24/7. Now, this inner voice can be your absolute biggest cheerleader or, let's be honest, your harshest critic. And the crazy part is, most of the time, we don't even realize it's there, quietly shaping how we feel and act. So the big question is, how do we actually take control of that story? Well, let's find out.
So here's our game plan for this journey. First, we're going to shine a light on that unseen inner voice. Then, you and I are going to become thought detectives. After that, we'll master the art of the reframe, uncover the very real-world advantage of optimism, and we'll wrap it all up with a super simple 5-minute reset you can literally use tonight.
All right, first up, the unseen inner voice. Let's really dive in and understand the thoughts that are, moment by moment, building the world you experience.
This seems so simple, but it is so powerful. There is a direct, undeniable line. What you think becomes how you feel. And yeah, positive thoughts can lift us up, but it's those negative ones that often have the strongest, quietest grip on our mood, don't they?
This brings us to a really key concept, automatic thoughts. I want you to think of these as the ninjas of your mind. They strike so fast you don't even see them coming. You know that feeling? When your day is going totally fine, and then bam, your mood just tanks, and you have no idea why. An irrational, negative automatic thought is almost always the hidden culprit.
Okay, so we've kind of pinpointed the problem, but how do we solve it? Well, now it's time to put on our detective hats and start investigating our own minds.
And this, right here, is the crucial shift. You don't have to get into a wrestling match with your negative thoughts. The goal isn't to fight them, it's to question them. Just treat them like theories your mind cooked up, and your job is to see if they actually hold any water.
And the main tool we're going to use for this job is the evidence technique. It's a super simple 3-step process. Step 1, you got to catch a negative thought in the act. Step 2, ask yourself, okay, what's the actual evidence for this thought? But here's the absolute game changer. Step 3, you have to ask, what's the evidence against this thought? That's the part that forces you to separate feeling from fact.
So what does the thought detective actually ask? Well, you start right here. So you have a thought, right? Something like, I always fail. It feels so true in the moment. But is there really substantial evidence for that? Or is your brain just taking 1 or 2 examples and blowing them way out of proportion?
Then, you've got to do the thing our brains just hate to do. You actively look for the proof that says you're wrong. Have there been times you didn't fail? I mean, even small wins count. When you actually list these things out, it's like you're a real detective, finding clues that just blow holes in the prosecution's big, scary story. And then, for the final step, you put it all together. Based on all the evidence, the good and the bad, what's a more balanced, a more realistic conclusion? Now, this isn't about, toxic positivity or pretending everything is perfect. It's about seeing the full picture, not just the negative snapshot your brain wants you to focus on.
All right, so once you've played detective with the evidence, it's time to switch roles. Now you become the writer. We're moving from just analyzing the story to actively rewriting it, but with compassion.
Just look at this shift right here. Going from "I'm so stupid" to "everyone makes mistakes" isn't about letting yourself off the hook. It's about giving yourself the same break you'd give a friend, right? You're basically swapping out that heavy feeling of shame for a chance to actually learn something, and wow, is that a more productive way to live?
Okay, so this all sounds great for our inner world. But does it actually make a difference out in the real world? Oh yeah, absolutely. Let's dig into the tangible benefits that this kind of balanced, optimistic thinking can have.
Check this out. One study found this amazing, direct link between optimism and performance in college students. So get this. The students who are more optimistic about an upcoming exam, they didn't just feel better, they actually studied more. And, big surprise, they got better grades. It's a perfect loop, isn't it? Their belief fueled their effort, and that effort created their success.
And this isn't just about a midterm exam. We're talking about incredibly high-stakes situations. Like, think about match day for medical students. It's a huge deal. The study found that optimistic students weren't just happier or less stressed. They were way more likely to get into their top-choice residency program. I mean, more than half of them did. That's huge. So, the takeaway here is that optimism isn't some fluffy, feel-good thing. No, it is a genuine, strategic advantage. It literally fuels your effort, it cuts down your stress, and, this is the part I love, it builds resilience. When those optimistic students in the study hit a wall or failed at something, they didn't crumble, they bounced back. It's literally a win-win with almost no emotional downside. So, how do we make all this stuff a real, practical, daily habit, not just something we think about once? Well, that brings us to our final section, a simple ritual to start building the skill over time.
Here it is. This is your 5-minute reset. Just 3 simple steps at the end of your day. First, notice. Just pick one negative thought you had. Then, evaluate it. Put on that detective hat and use the evidence technique. And finally, rewrite it into something more balanced and compassionate. That's it. It seriously takes just a few minutes, but it's like doing reps at the gym for your brain.
See, when you start doing this, when you become both a thought detective and a compassionate editor, you're not just a passive listener to that voice in your head anymore. You become the author. You get to decide the narrative. So I'm going to leave you with this one question to think about. What story will your inner voice tell tomorrow?